Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are on page 27 of your student journal, page 27. And our objective today is, I will solve subtraction problems as addition problems with an unknown addend. So let's look at that again. So today we're going to solve subtraction problems. But the strategy that we're going to use is we're going to turn them into addition problems and have an unknown addend. Now remember, boys and girls, what an addend is if I had an addition problem, if I had 3 plus 1, these two numbers are called my addends. And the answer is called my sum. So when it says an unknown addend, they mean one of these is going to be missing today. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay, let's look at our vocabulary because it's really important today. Today we're going to be using a number bond. A number bond is part equals the whole. Now the really neat thing about the number bond is using a number bond, you can make what we call sometimes a fact family. So the part plus the part equals the whole. So we could write that as an equation. We're actually going to write it down here where we have some extra room, okay? So we're going to draw an arrow, but I want to show you what this number bond does. So our two parts equal our whole in an addition problem. So we could say 5 plus 2 equals 7, equals our whole. We could also switch our addends because that's allowed. So we could say 2 plus 5 equals 7. So part plus part equals whole, or part plus part equals whole. Now, the neat thing is we could also see this as subtraction. We could say the whole minus or take away or subtract one of the parts equals the other part. So 7, if I have 7 and I take away 5, I'm left with 2. Or I could have gone the opposite direction. I could have said 7 take away 2 leaves me with 5. So this is what we call a fact family, and the number bond helps us make that fact family, which is really neat. So understanding this today will help you. Okay, so let's continue to look at our vocabulary. It says, today we're going to think addition to subtract. So if they give us a subtraction problem, 7 minus 2, and we don't know what this missing number is, we don't know what that missing number is, we could write it as an addition problem because it follows our fact family. So remember, in the fact family, it's always the same 3 numbers. So here, we know that this missing number has to be here. Now, what I want you to notice about our fact family, boys and girls, is in the addition problems, the whole number, the 7, is always our sum. But when we write a subtraction problem, the whole number is always our minuend, or our starting number, okay? So that's how I knew how to write it this way. So once I turn my subtraction problem into an addition problem, I have 2 choices of how I can solve. I have choice 1 or choice 2. So choice 1 is I could count up. I could say I have 5, how many more do I need to add to 7? 5, 6, 7, and because I had 2, my answer would be 2, which means my subtraction answer is 2. Or I could count on. I could say I have 5 in my hand. How many more do I need to get to 7? So 5, 6, 7. So I had to count up 2. So I could use either of these strategies. Okay, boys and girls, I'm not going to go over the steps today with you. I'm just going to show you how to do this, but I want you to remember this fact family. You should have this written in your spiral because everything I write in green, you should write too. So if you need to stop your video to write this, please do that right now. Okay, boys and girls, here's my first problem. And they gave me a subtraction problem. It says 10 minus 8. And they also already used those to write an addition problem. So remember, in a subtraction problem, my whole is my minuend, and in an addition problem, my whole is my sum. So my whole is 10, which means one of my parts has to be 8. So one of my parts is 8. So I need to find out what my other part is. So what is my other part? I could count up or I could draw. So if I have 10 whole, what does this need to be to make 8 and the other part equal the whole? Well, 8, 9, 10. I need 2 more here, so my 2 parts equal 10. Which means 8 plus 2 equals 10, so I could put a 2 there. So 8 plus 2 equals 10, which means 10 minus 8 must equal 2, because in a fact family, all my numbers have to match. Okay, I'm going to show you another one of those before we do some together. Here's my next one. Okay. And what do I see? In the subtraction problem, my minuend is a 6, which means that's my whole. It's also in my addition problem, the whole is my sum. Okay, so if I have 6 minus 5, that means one of my parts must be 5 to make this a fact family. So what's missing? 5 plus what equals 6? 5 plus what equals 6? What needs to go here to make these 2 parts equal the whole? 5 plus 1. 5, 6. So 5 plus 1 equals 6. So I could write that here. 5 plus 1 equals 6, which means that 6 minus 5 equals 1. Because that fact family, again, has all the same answers. I'm sorry, all the same numbers. Okay, let's try some of these together, boys and girls. We're on page 28. Page 28, and here's our first problem. Okay. Our first problem says 9 take away 5, or 9 subtract 5. So our minuend, our starting number is our whole. So I want you to put a whole there. Okay, which means the 2 other numbers have to equal the whole. So also we see here that our sum is our whole. Those 2 are always going to be the starting number in subtraction, or the minuend in subtraction, and the sum in addition. Okay, so what do we have? We have 9 minus 5. So one of our parts is 5. And now we need to know this missing addend. So 5 plus what equals 9? 5 plus what equals 9? So what 2 parts equal 9? So let's count on. We could use our hand, or we could draw. I'm going to draw. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So how many did we have to draw to get to 9? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which tells me my missing part is 4. So I know 5 plus 4, those 2 together equal 9. So we could put a 4 there. Well, if 5 plus 4 equals 9, that means 9 minus 5 must equal 4. Because I have to have all the same numbers in our fact family or in our number bond. Okay, let's do one more of those together. Okay, sorry. This time we have 7 take away 6. Okay, so 7 is our minuend, which means it's our whole. 7 is our sum, which also means it's our whole. Okay, so what is our other part? Well, I'm sorry, what is our first part? 7 minus 6. So we know that one part is 6. And we see that here, 6 plus what equals 7? So 6 plus what together equals 7. Well, that one we probably know without even drawing. 6 plus 1 equals 7. That's our number bond, which means these two equal the whole. So we could say 6 plus 1 equals 7. Well, if 6 plus 1 equals 7, then 7 minus 6 must equal 1, because do you see how our numbers we have to have the same numbers in a fact family. Okay, boys and girls, you're going to be practicing some of these with your teacher and by yourself. Have a good day.